Lisa, you can sit down for a second if you want.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So Ben, I just want to, review a little bit of what you've provided to us. I just think it would be good to talk about Ottawa County's generous funding of Ottawa Food. So I'm just gonna read through that section there. The claim that Ottawa Food only received $8,950 in county funding is false. Ottawa Food was provided 3 staff and significant county funding has been provided to its coalition partners. The core groups connected to the Ottawa Food Advisory Board are Community Action House, Community Spoke, and MSU Extension. Ottawa County has funded these related groups at the following levels over the past 2 years. Some of this might sound repetitive because Commissioner Moss covered it. On December 2, 2022, Ottawa County granted Community Action House $486,000 for use over 3 years, specifically to manage the Ottawa Food Program, including 3 full-time staff over the period of December 14, 2022 to December 31, 2024, as well as other expenses, as you just covered in relation to the ARPA funding. In 2022, Ottawa County gave Community Spoke $70,000. In 2023, Ottawa County gave Community Spoke $45,000. MSU Extension was given $264,000 in October of 2022 and is asking for $272,000 in November of 2023. And since October 2022 alone, these core groups, which form the leadership of Ottawa Food, when you would look at the advisory board, have been given a total of nearly $1 million by the county. This raises questions about the claim that Ottawa Food doesn't have enough resources to continue normal operations. And we heard from MSU that there are some nuances there with their funding. So I guess one thing we haven't talked a whole lot about yet is Community Spoke. So we've been giving Community Spoke a significant amount of funding as well. And my understanding is that Community Spoke helps to coordinate the actions of nonprofits to help meet the needs of the community. And they are interestingly also on the advisory board of Ottawa Foods. And so I'm getting a little concerned here that we have, that we are funding organizations to be doing things that are not being done. Community Spoke is supposed to be kind of facilitating in this role, but they have been absent really from coming and speaking to the board this entire year, besides I believe January. And we're part of this decision to go to the press instead of coming back to a finance committee meeting and working through the needs that they saw were in the county when we in fact asked the health department to come back if they had needs. That didn't happen. Again, this is just very reminiscent of the whole budget process where things are taken to the media for resolution instead of being taken to the board. So personally, I'm feeling uncomfortable with maintaining a system that is not coming back to the board for assistance when needed, but is going to the press instead and finding political moments. And so I'm just thinking that, perhaps we need to pause a little bit and take some time to evaluate this situation. It's helpful to know that some of these activities, which sounded quite scary in the news that were being paused, are actually kind of seasonal. So we probably have some time to work with here. I hear that having a coordinator is very important. It's important to the nonprofits who are working in providing food to the county residents. And so I think it is important that we look at that need and that we address that need. But I think perhaps we need to look at who is overseeing that person and this whole food project, because having food for our people, especially people in need, is really important. And it's not a political game. And so we need to have reliable people making, good decisions and accessing the board when they need help, as appropriate and using appropriate process. And that's just not been happening. So, I would like for us to consider, you know, taking a little time to think through, some of these relationships that we have with providers like Community Spoke, and even having Ottawa Foods underneath the health department. Perhaps we need to look at reallocating some of those funds, to something different. Maybe we need to look at creating a Department of Family Impact, where we could ensure that important initiatives and positions are not affected by political actions, but that proper process is used and that needs are truly being met. So, those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Commissioner Rohde. I definitely agree.